order the city council meeting for June 27th. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Rubio.
Here.
Councilmember Veros.
Here.
Vice Mayor Armstrong.
Here.
Mayor Hudson.
Here.
Councilmember Perkins is not with us this evening.
Sounds like we had a pretty full house. All right. I'd like to ask Jack Andrews from Troop 805 to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. To the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Jack. Okay. Are there any changes to the agenda tonight?
There are no changes.
Okay. If you wish to speak under public comment or regarding an agenda item, please fill out a card at the back of the room and submit it to the city clerk over here on my left. If you are participating remotely, click the raise your hand button on your computer or star 9 on your telephone to request to speak when public comment is taken on the agenda item. Commission meetings may be found on the city's website at www.sanramon.ca.gov. Subscription service is available at the link for automatic notification. Contact the city clerk with questions 925-973-2539. Okay, next item on the agenda is public comment. Public comment is open. This is for items. If you request to pull an item from the consent calendar and the reason why you wish to pull the item, or if you wish to speak to any item that's not on the agenda, now is the time to speak. Do we have any cards for this?
One speaker card from Taiwan's country.
Please take up to 3 minutes.
Hi, Mayor, Council members. Today I want to share with you something I feel I must come and declare as a person, because if I don't do so, nobody will. Today I was at the supervisors meeting for Contra Costa County. During the public comment, one of the public speaker mentioned that cross was a tool that the Romans used to kill slaves, and that it is a bloody symbol and that should not be shown. I was horrified because I'm a Christian. I'm not just a Christian, I'm a born-again Christian. I was born in Taiwan. I was born into a family who did not know Jesus Christ. I was actually raised to worship my ancestors and possibly all the deities that exist around us. When I was young, my mother told me that there were missionaries who tried to bribe the faith of the Taiwanese people by giving us flowers and milk powder, because back then, post-war, World War II, Taiwan was not a very prosperous country. So I was impressed as Christianity is a religion that wants to buy my belief. When I came to this country with legal immigration, thanks to my very intelligent uncle, who was our guarantor in the immigration process, I came to know a community of Taiwanese Christians whom I thought were traitors. So I went to the church actually to condemn them because they have betrayed the Taiwanese culture. Never had I imagined that I was then inspired by their persistent and constant love, even though I had questioned them and sometimes disagreed and challenged them because I was young. They still came to pick me up to church faithfully. And then I realized that if I had issues with Jesus Christ because he doesn't look like me, how much love he must have for me when he died for me on the cross. So therefore, I became a Christian, knowing that I am a priceless gift that was purchased, redeemed by my Savior Jesus Christ, who doesn't look like me, but who cares about me so much and died for me. Therefore, when I wear this symbol of cross, I don't see it as a tool of murder, someone who is a slave. I see it as a reminder of my Savior, who did not see me as a different race and forgot me in the process of redeeming the human race. And I wear it to remind me that love is worth being reminded and pass on. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
We have one hand raised, Joe Gorton.
Joe? Take the boy out of the council chambers, but you have the floor.
You gonna let him speak?
Yes. You want to stop him? They let him carry a gun. Oh, we can't hear you yet. Hang on, Joe. We're working on.
We were experiencing audio problems earlier, and currently we cannot hear Joe speaking.
Okay, let's see if we can come back and we'll move on to another. Maybe we can get it fixed. Do we have another?
There are no other hands raised and no speaker cards.
Okay, then we will close public comment.
Want to do any other announcements?
Yeah, just a point to say, we encourage your comments. Unfortunately, state law prevents the city from discussing any items that are not on the meeting agenda tonight. We do take them seriously and we will follow up on them. Depending on what they are. Okay, there's no other speaker cards written. What other announcements do we? That I can think of?
Are you gonna hold off on?
Yeah, we'll come back and we'll just continue on to the next and then come back to it when we get it fixed. Because we're gonna have the same problem as we move along to consent. Next item on the agenda is consent calendar items, which are acted upon normally with one motion. Is there anyone wishing to pull an item? Do we have any cards to pull an item?
No.
Can I have a motion?
I move the motion for approving consent calendar.
I'll second that.
Motion for Rose, second for Rubio. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 And opposed? Anyone opposing? Seeing none? Okay, the consent calendar passes unanimously with those are present. Let me know if you get Joe back and we'll do it again. Okay, where are we?
6 special presentations.
Oh, we're on special presentations. That's a highlight of the evening. We've been waiting for you. Okay, can I ask, is it Nicolette? And let me know if I'm pronouncing Licatero. I'd ask Vice Mayor Armstrong if he would go up with you. Make this presentation. It's a little slow for me to get up there. How did I pronounce that right, first of all?
We have a city council of the city of San Ramon recognizes and congratulates the California high school stunt team. Stunt is an exciting sport to play, coach, and watch. Stunt removes the crowd leading element and focuses on the technical and athletic components of cheer, including partner stunts, pyramids, basket tosses, group jumps, and tumbling. These elements are put together in short routines that both teams must perform head to head on the floor at the same time. Stunt is an opportunity for colleges, universities, and high schools to meet the strict Title IX requirements of a sport. With more than 500,000 high school cheerleaders, Stunt expands participation opportunities for young women by providing an avenue for female athletes. The City Council of San Ramon recognizes the extraordinary commitment and efforts by these Cal High stunt athletes and their coaches as they led the way in the 2023 season to not only represent their school, but the city of San Ramon throughout the Tri-Valley, East Bay, and state of California. Congratulations on an amazing season. Signed, David E. Hudson, Mayor, June 27, 2023. Congratulations. And
I'm gonna bring the girls up here so you can get a picture with everybody. Yes,
well, and just before you do, we also have certificates for each of the team members as well as for each of the coaches, and I'll give those to you to take care of at a later time.
Hello, my name is Nicolette Lucatero, and I had the honor of coaching the California High School Stunt Team for the 2023 season, alongside my sister and head coach Bianca Lucatero and our dear friend and coach Shayna Danielson. On behalf of the team and the coaching staff, we would like to thank the city of San Ramon, the San Ramon City Council for taking the time to recognize these incredible athletes. This season, we had 28 athletes, all of whom put their heart and soul into the season. It was clear when these girls won not only East Bay Athletic League champions, North Coast section champions, and second place in the state, that these titles weren't luck at all, but rather their hard work and dedication, rewarding them for a job well done. Our 2023 season will be one to remember forever. Congratulations to our amazing Grizzlies, and thank you again for this recognition. We truly appreciate it.
We should get Nicolette in there too. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We All right.
comments from the council?
So first and foremost, I just want to say congratulations on an exceptional season. I know that came at the expense of a lot of hard work and dedication, and that on top of all of your daily responsibilities, academic responsibilities, work as well. So I just really want to congratulate you and wish you all the best, and keep up the great work. Make us just very proud to see our San Ramon youth making really being leaders in the community. Thank you so much.
Congratulations to all 28 athletes for championship, for coaches, parents. Definitely you played important role. We are always, one of the best thing about San Ramon is our youth. We are proud of all the achievements that you get for our community. When I say championships, the importance is about the pursuit of excellence, right? So that's where your teamwork, your skill, your dedication, that makes the difference. And that's why we are all proud of our San Ramon community youth. Once again, all the best for your future championships. Congratulations.
Congratulations to all the team members, and great job for the coaches and parents who kind of got them to this place. Congratulations on your NCS title. I've seen you perform. I live back behind Cal High. All four of my kids went to Cal High, and I'll go to football games. I'll go to different events. I've seen you perform. You guys do an outstanding job. It's incredible. It's amazing. I don't know how you do it, but you do it, and you do it so well. So well done, and congratulations.
We love our Grizzlies. Thank you so much. Hopefully we get somebody on our teen council too.
Yeah.
There's some real leaders here. Look forward to seeing the next step up at high school
Okay.
and take it up to the next level. Okay,
Item 7, deferred.
we have no deferred. I did one appointment. We have it as a council appointments.
Item
Did I missed one earlier. I just. Under announcements, I forgot to announce, we have a new city manager here. Looks the same as the old city manager. But he is new. Steven Spadowski.
Thank you, Mayor. If I could just say a couple quick words. 3 minutes. Okay, start the timer. I'm just truly honored at the trust that the council has placed in me. It really is something that I wanted my entire career and worked towards it. And I'm just very appreciative that the council appointed me to this position. I've been absolutely overwhelmed by the support of the community, of people coming up to me and encouraging me and just showing me the support throughout this entire process. And I am also just absolutely overwhelmed at the support that I've received from staff. I really treasure my coworkers throughout the years here. I've been here for 22 years. And this is just an excellent team. And I'm a pretty competitive person. And I'd put this team of employees up against any other city, whether it's, an obstacle course or a trivia challenge or just quality of service. This staff is excellent. And I know we are the best in the Bay Area. So I'm just very honored at this appointment. So thank you.
Next, we have an advisory committee appointments.
Through the mayor,
Yeah, go ahead.
we do have Joe Gorton who would like to comment on Stephen's appointment.
Okay, speak up, Joe. You have the floor.
It's all yours, Joe.
All right, thank you. I guess I'm not as good at Zoom as I thought I was in the past. That's a skill easily lost, apparently. Mayor, good to see you up on the dais. I'm glad you're moving along. Good to see you. And I just wanted to take this opportunity to congratulate Steven Spadowski and this council for the wise appointment. I think you made an excellent selection and that he will do the city and the staff well, and all the future years, San Ramon look bright. So with that being said, again, Steven is an excellent choice. He worked for me. I knew he was up and coming, an up and comer, and I think that you'll get many good years out of him.
Thank you, Joe. Hope you're enjoying retirement. If not, here.
What's that?
We've got you echoing. He hopes you enjoy your retirement.
Oh, all right. Yes, thank you. I'm definitely enjoying it.
Thank you, Joe.
That was a
Thank
hard retort. Okay, thank you. On to our next item, which is the Library Advisory Committee appointments, a presentation by Brad Morris.
Good evening, Mayor Hudson, City Council. Thank you for allowing me to be here today for some appointments that we have for some of our committees. I'm going to start off with our Arts Advisory Committee appointment. The Parks and Community Services Commission recommends the appointment of Lisa Rosanowski to serve as an alternate one on the Arts Advisory Committee with the term expiring in March of 2024. The Arts Advisory Committee consists of 7 regular members and 2 alternate members serving 2-year terms. The city clerk listed the vacancies on the city website and social media accounts listening for applications. There are currently 2 vacancies consisting of the 2 alternate positions, and we received 1 application for consideration. An ad hoc committee of the Parks and Community Services Commission interviewed the applicant and is recommending, and the full commission is recommending the appointment of Lisa Rodnowski to serve as the alternate one for the Arts Advisory Committee term expiring in March 2024.
Okay. Comments or questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll move the appointment of Lisa Rosnowski to alternate number one to the Arts Advisory Committee for the term to in March 2024.
I'll second that.
Motion Hudson, second by.
Armstrong. I'll
Too
second.
late. Marisol beat you
Okay.
to it. Any further discussion, comments?
Mayor Hudson, we do have one speaker,
Okay,
Taiwansa Country.
Hi, Mayor and council members. First of all, I want to thank all the volunteers who signed up to volunteer for our Arts Advisory, Library Advisory, as well as Senior Citizens Advisory. These three very important advisory committees really help govern policies that elevate and maintain and improve our quality of life. For that, as a taxpayer and a citizen, I really thank them. I'm here, though, to ask staff to please have 3 commissioners minimum for the ad hoc committee that interviews them. Because when you have only 2, it is difficult for the entire Parks and Community Services commissions to really get to know these individuals. So just for the sake of getting to know the people who are working for us, I highly recommend that the ad hoc committee is 3 out of, I believe, 7 of the commission, if possible. And I also just want to share that it is worthwhile for the Arts Advisory Committee to immediately contact Contra Costa County, whom today passed a master's plan for arts and culture in our county. I have a feeling that it might have some sort of conflict or maybe take away some of our funds or opportunities. No? Okay. In that case, I didn't really see that clarified in the master plan. So it would be worthwhile to look into it. And that's all. Thank you.
thank you. Any other cards or star nines or,
There are no more speakers.
okay, we'll close that item. Brad?
We
got a motion.
Would you-
Second, should we take a vote?
I can run the e-vote if you'd like. There we
Okay,
go.
we'll just say all those in favor, say aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Uh-oh. They want these official things, Brad.
Understand.
I'll do it.
Okay,
Oh, should be Mark.
It should be Mark. No, I was first and then Mark. That's
Yeah.
okay.
All right.
Perfect.
It's done.
so if Lisa's here and wants to do a 20-minute speech, I know that will move right along.
I think we're good. Thank you.
Good, thank you, Brad. And hopefully they keep moving on. Everybody likes our arts. Okay, so you got all that? Everybody's here that's here? Helps when you turn it on. Okay. The next item is the Library Advisory Committee appointments. Brad, you've got that one too?
I'm just going to stay up here all night. Well, maybe not all night, just for a couple of these. Thank you, Mayor Hudson. City Council, the Library Advisory Committee appointments. The Parks and Community Services Commission recommends the appointment of Johnny Tong to serve as a regular member of the Library Advisory Committee with the term to expire in March of 2025, and Deep Mahanjan to serve as an alternate one of the Library Advisory Committee with the term to expire in March 2025 as well. The Library Advisory Committee has 5 regular members and 2 alternates, all serving 2-year terms. There were currently 2 vacancies consisting of the 1 regular position and the 1 alternate position. An ad hoc committee of the commission, as well as the commission, is recommending the appointment of Johnny Tong to serve as the regular member of the Library Advisory Committee with the term expiring in March 2025. Deep Mahajan to serve as the alternate one on the Library Advisory Committee with the term to expire in March 2025 as well.
I hope everybody got all those names, right? Johnny Tong for the regular position
Yes.
Have a motion.
I move the motion to appoint the library advisory committee members
As recommended.
as recommended. Okay. So Deepthi Mahajan is alternate
Yes,
and John Trang as regular member.
correct.
I move the motion.
I'll second it. So go ahead, mover. Okay, we'll notify them that the appointments. Thank you, Brad. Unless you want to hang around.
I'm going to do the next one if you don't mind.
Sure, go ahead.
Perfect. I'm going to do the Senior Citizen Advisory Committee appointments. So this is just like the other ones. Parks and Community Services Commission is recommending the appointment of Carlos Araza to serve as the alternate one on the Senior Citizens Advisory Committee with the term of expiring in March of 2024. The Senior Citizens Advisory Committee consists of 7 regular members and the 2 alternates. There was currently 1 vacancy consisting of the alternate position for this committee, and 1 applicant was received. The commission is recommending the appointment of Carlos Carazo to serve as the alternate one on the Senior Citizens Advisory Committee with the term of expiring in March 2024.
Questions to staff? Seeing none, what's the what's the pleasure of the? Oh, is there a public comment on this?
There are no public comments.
Okay,
I'll move to approve Carlos Carazo to serve as alternate number 1 on the Senior Citizens Advisory Committee with a term to expire in 2024.
okay, we have the motion. Rubio, second.
All second.
Armstrong. You got a mover. I got a vote. Got any more?
Thank you very much, City Council. Have a great evening.
Everybody loves a volunteer, Kathy. Okay. Move through all of our appointments. Next on the agenda is public comment number 2. Now is the time for anyone to address this council on it if you haven't spoken before on any item not on the agenda.
But we're gonna go to the,
Are we doing to John?
the unfinished business.
Unfinished business?
Public hearing, yeah. 9.
Okay.
Next page.
Go ahead. Okay. This is a public hearing, resolution number 2023-77 regarding the proposed assessment increase for fiscal year 2023-2024. And staff report is John Bell.
Good evening, Mayor Hudson, council members. I'll be presenting the Vista San Ramon proposed assessment increase. So this will cover some background information, the process and the methodology. So overview of this presentation, start with the background, the zone maps, some reserve fund study revenues and expenditures, the maximum assessment methodology, the operating budget, and then the 2 scenarios if the assessment passes and if the assessment fails. So an overview of the zone. Zone 4 is within the Landscape and Lighting District 1984-1. There's 161 assessment units. These units are subdivision 5467 and 5468. Also includes the east side of Alcosta Boulevard, which is funded partly by Citywide. So these assessments fund maintenance of public landscape lighting and other amenities, and the city ensures that it is compliant with Prop 218. This is a map of the entire Landscape and Lighting District. The small portion, number 4 in green, that's Vista San Ramon. And as a part of the engineer's report, we're required to show a map of existing and proposed improvements. So this identifies all the areas of landscape, irrigation amenities, lighting that are in need of replacement or have already been improved. The blue line is arterial. 30% of that is covered by citywide. And then it includes the Woodview Circle medians and the entry points on Overlook and Woodland. So the purpose of this maximum assessment increase, we have increased operating and replacement costs. There is a desire through our communications with the HOA to maintain the current service levels, make planned improvements, and account for deferred maintenance. At the current rate, this fund will go negative in fiscal year 26-27. So the maximum rate is the not to exceed assessment amount. This is the voted on amount approved by property owners. That is the reason we're here with a ballot. The assessment rate is the actual rate that's levied, and this can be changed up to the maximum amount by city council action. So this is our 23-24 operating budget. Consists of staff, contracts, utilities, materials and supplies, and indirect costs. So it's a total of $39,391. These costs are increasing each year. And with the current maximum assessment rate of $180, that the revenues aren't meeting these operating budget expenditures. So our maximum assessment methodology, it begins with the total annualized maintenance and replacement costs. This is important to understand. These annualized maintenance costs are referring to deferred maintenance. We took all the amenities in the zone, all the irrigation components. We gave a useful life. We gave a cost to replace them. We spread that out over 30 years, and then it gives us every single year an annualized cost to provide for deferred maintenance in addition to the normal operating costs. So that came out to $77,000. We subtracted the general benefit contribution. That's citywide's contribution to the arterial. So that gave us total accessible costs in this first year of $65,000. We used about $4,000 of reserves to lower that amount to $61,000. And that gave us a maximum assessment per unit of $385. This amount came from spreading this annualized cost over 30 years. The original amount we had came up with for the first year was $407. But by spreading and averaging it, we got it to $385. So the total amount to be assessed in the first year will be that $61,985. And then we're proposing the maximum assessment per unit to be levied $385 and the actual assessment to be levied at $385. The reason we're asking for the $385, the maximum amount, is to account for some of these annualized costs that we need to catch up to. We have irrigation components, tree replacements that need to occur that we have to account for. And this maximum rate shall be increased by the February CPI for the San Francisco Bay Area, all urban consumers. Currently, that assessment is $180. So our process and timeline, we began this process in 2021, 2022 with discussions with the HOA board of Vista San Ramon. They expressed a desire to continue the service levels that we were providing and continue to upgrade and improve the amenities in that zone. March of this past year, City Council ordered the preparation of the engineer's report. That draft engineer's report was discussed with the Finance Committee in April. And then in May, the engineer's report was approved by City Council, and they declared the intent to conduct these ballot proceedings. On May 12th, we sent a notice of public hearing and the official ballot to the residents. From City Council discussions, we held 2 informational meetings at the community center on June 5th and June 19th to provide any information and answer any questions about the ballot process. And then June 27th, we're here today to hold a public hearing and count ballots. So how does the ballot pass? It's a simple majority of the return ballots supporting the proposed maximum assessment increase. Ballots need to be clearly marked and the ballot signed by the property owner. So these ballots only went to property owners. And completed ballots must be returned to the city clerk by mail by 7 p.m. today, or they can be hand delivered by the end of this public comment portion of the hearing. So here's our scenarios, some of the things that are possibilities depending on if this assessment increase is approved. We'll be able to maintain service levels. There's approximately 1.8 acres of landscape. Currently weekly inspection for weeds and litter. We prune as needed for healthy appearance and intended design and function, fertilize landscape areas twice a year. These are pictures of irrigation components that are in need of replacement, been in the ground a very long time, we'd be able to go in and start making our deferred maintenance replacement program with these irrigation controllers, backflow prevention devices, remote controls, valves. And then we'd be able to continue mulching every 3 years, maintaining a 2-inch layer of mulch for weed suppression, water retention. If the assessment does not pass, the obvious statement is the reserve goes negative. So this is the reserve fund study. On the far right, you can see the bottom far right, it goes -1% in year 5, which is 2026, 27. We would be starting 2027, 28 with negative, which we cannot do. So included in that, there'd be no planned CIPs, expenditures are more than our revenue. So we would prioritize irrigation repairs. All of the landscape would die off if we didn't have any water to it. So we would prioritize irrigation repairs, prevent water loss and loss of landscape. Components would be replaced when they're damaged or broken. So the picture on the right is a broken sprinkler. On the left is irrigation that we would probably leave in the ground. It's not broken. It's just as they get worn, sometimes they stick and pop up. So the replacements would be prioritizing what's wasting water, what's causing landscape to decline. And there's a possibility of reduced service levels, which would mean possibilities of seeing more weed growth. We would have to prioritize the litter and debris, but pruning frequency may decrease, fertilization may decrease in frequency if we have to reduce the service level. And we would be unable to replace trees and shrubs. There's bare areas in the landscape currently, especially on Alcosta, and there's some tree stumps that the trees have not been replaced. We would not be able to replace those. Anything that poses a safety hazard, we would have to maintain and take care of, but trees that would be cut down would not be replaced. So our next steps, City Council opened the public hearing and received comments. City Council to close the public hearing. Staff will publicly tabulate the ballots and announce the results. And staff recommends council continue the matter until the next session to certify the results and order the levy of the assessments as appropriate. That's the end of the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Any questions to staff? Good. Sridhar?
So the current charge is 180 and your recommendation is to get to 385.
Correct.
So that's almost 108% increase.
Correct.
So any reason why we jump like almost 100%? Like typically we see like 5%, 10% or something like that. But in this case, more than 100%.
Correct. So it was mostly based off that total annualized replacement cost of finding the amount that would allow us to continue to replace things as they reach the end of useful life cycle. And so a lot of these things are the inflation jump from the last time this was ever increased till now. We're trying to account for that jump in time.
Okay.
With a large, it is a large increase.
It is, even including the inflation and everything, the numbers. So is it like going to be the future trend that it's going to be 100% increase? Or is it like this is one time that we are going to see this 100% jump and in future we can most probably we may replace most of those parts and we may not end up paying for those things. So
yeah, so the actual assessment rate does not always have to be $385.
Okay.
So if we're making improvements or scheduling capital improvement projects, we can lower that assessment based on need. So if we have no projects planned and there's not a need to charge that amount, we will not charge that amount.
okay, so that's like maximum assessment.
That's a
the
maximum,
385.
yes.
So what is the recommended that are you recommending to go with 385 or
This
you
first
saying
year, yes.
this year?
Yes.
385?
And that hasn't been increased since 1987. You said the maximum 180,
96,
97,
97, yes.
97.
Yeah.
I think that's
And
problem.
the $180 has been charged. The max rate's been charged since 2009.
I think that's where the problem, I think, because If we would have increment gradually, then maybe we wouldn't have jumped 100%, right? So maybe in future, we need to be careful about this. We need to make sure we review the fix or anything that we need to fix, right? So that we don't get into 100%. When community sees, the residents sees, they'll be like, oh, wow, why is 100%?
Correct. And that is why I think the CPI adjustment is important because it'll try to keep in with increased costs that will inevitably always increase. But the maximum assessment rate and the assessment rate, once you meet the maximum, it stays flat.
Flat, yeah. But then we have every year inflation, maybe we need to look at the option of adjusting with inflation per year, or maybe 2%. That way, we don't need to jump all the way to 100%.
It's a finance committee.
Just to be clear on that point, our proposed ballot measure here does include a adjustment for inflation. So the proposal will allow us to increase with inflation as necessary.
With this year, okay.
For
Thank you.
John, I had a just quick process question in terms of the public meetings, the 2 public meetings. Tell me about attendance and how did those meetings go? And
The first meeting, we had 1 resident show up. The second meeting, we had 0 residents show up.
okay, but everyone was noticed and had the opportunity to come to the meetings.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Marisol, anything?
No, not at the moment. It's okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
So I'll move the
Thank you,
motion
Jen.
to open here.
okay, I'll second. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Okay. Waiting on the buttons to show up
Yeah.
here.
I'm second as soon as it comes up. Over Rose, where's the second?
Sorry, I made a boo-boo.
That's okay. No such thing. We don't make mistakes. We're the city council.
A little too quick.
Yeah. Okay, public comment is open. Well, we have all the votes in. I assume that it passed, but I shouldn't.
Should make sure you.
Yeah, get this one down here.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, public comment is open. Do we have any speaker cards?
We do not have any speaker cards. We do have 1 hand raised on Zoom. However, we are experiencing audio problems on Zoom.
Okay.
And so on our break, I will be testing a different way for them to call in. However, Mayor Hudson, we do need to call for ballots.
Okay. This is a call for all ballots to be submitted to the city clerk. You just heard from her. So at this time, please, if you would, make your vote known. Give your vote to. We'll be counting them up after we. Got until we close.
So once we close public comment, the council we're not going to accept any more ballots.
Yes. So you need to make your ballot known now. If you have a ballot to turn in, please take it to the city clerk. Because once we close the public hearing, no more votes will be accepted. I think you just heard that. Okay,
Would you
Okay.
like for me to try for Joyce Carr's comment?
Yes,
I may
please.
be able to have her call in. Just 1 moment.
yes. And again, we received no cards to speak during public comment.
If Joyce would like to, we could actually have her dial the phone number on right here, and I
Okay.
can take her call that way.
Yes.
Joyce, if you would like to make public comment, if you can please call area code 925-973-2507. That is 973-2507. Joyce? Hi, I'm going to go ahead and put you on the speaker. Public comment will be up again. Oh, on this item or on a different item? Okay. Okay, when we open up public comment, if you'd like to call back on this number, I'll go ahead and put you on the speaker. Okay? You can do that also, but you'll have to call where. I'm very sorry about that. She had wanted to speak under public comment,
That's okay.
so she will call back. So there are no public comments.
Okay, then we'll
So-
close the public comment.
I move the motion for closing the public hearing.
Okay, motion for Rose, second,
Marisol.
Marisol. You got a second?
Yes. All right. Now,
She's getting tired. Okay. Okay, so we've got all the ballots in. We've closed the public hearing. I will call for a 10-minute recess and direct the clerk to provide ballot results as she tabulates what the winning score is.
Okay. 10-minute recess.
Take 10. the tally, the official vote.
So we have tabulated the ballots. And here are the results. I certify the canvass of the ballot for Special Assessment Zone 4, Vista San Ramon, with the majority in support. The vote was 36 in favor and 19 opposed, and we had one that was not counted.
Okay,
Or I'm not sure what the percentage is, affirmative.
okay, I'll ask each councilman, do you have any questions or comments about this?
The only question I had was, I just want to clarify, each of those votes is separate per APN, one vote per APN. And the APN is indicated on the ballot as it's turned in correctly. Correct.
That is correct. Only one ballot was issued per household, and every ballot that was returned is an original with signature.
Thank you.
And I don't see something. In that case, I will move that that this item be continued to the next council meeting to adopt a motion certifying the election results and ordering the assessment as appropriate.
I will second that.
Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, it's pretty self-explanatory. We get the results, please.
Yeah, passed.
Passed unanimously. All present. So at the July. What meeting is that?
July 11th.
July 11th meeting, we will be certifying the results. Have. Okay.
See, where are we at? We're gonna go to new business.
I think we get to hear from Dennis.
Yep. Get it from Dennis.
Okay, we will have a report from San Ramon's annual report from Dennis Garrison, president of Discover San Ramon. And Wade Bear, is that pronounced correctly? I'm hot tonight. I'm getting these names right.
You're doing well, Dave. Dennis Garrison, I'm here to present the annual report of Discover San Ramon. I dropped off the financial report to the city clerk just a few minutes ago. I would say in terms of general trend, we are spending more and more of the Discover San Ramon money on marketing each year. Like most things in the hotel industry, COVID reoriented our direction. We have gone as a market, we have gone from a principally business market to a largely weekend and events market. So we had to readjust our marketing strategy. In the last 18 months, we've spent over $600,000 promoting Discover San Ramon, primarily on the internet. This is just not an industry that really responds to published materials like brochures and those things. The old days where everybody ran an ad on Southwest Magazine are gone. So most of it is internet marketing. So I'm going to turn the floor over to Wade Bear, who can remind you or present to the people who weren't here last year what the concepts that we came up with 2 years ago, and then show you the results that we had last year from our marketing campaign.
Thank you.
So I will turn the floor
Wade?
over to Wade, who has convinced me that
Council meeting.
his presentation will be flawless and no internet problems.
Good luck.
It's like my own bones.
Well, thank you for having me tonight. My name is Wade Bear. I'm an account supervisor with the shipyard, and we are the advertising agency for Discover San Ramon. And we're going to be going through the 2022-23 campaign report here tonight. So quickly, the agenda, we're going to go through a quick campaign overview and even quicker program overview. And then we're going to get into the publisher performance. So the campaign overview, as Dennis mentioned, we're going to start with the positioning. And this kind of is the foundation that we use for all creative development. It's our good-natured positioning for San Ramon. It's a combination of the natural environment, so the green rolling hills, the trails, the outdoor lifestyle, combined with the vibe of the people who live and work here and you know, within this community. That led us to the development of our creative campaign, which is called Unwind in San Ramon. And I'll read this really quickly. Life can get pretty complicated, work, family, pandemics. It's easy to get wound up from it all. Wouldn't it be great if there was a place you could go to just unwind, to take a beat, to get the kinks out and resume your original form? In this campaign, we'll lean into the line art form from the new brand mark to create a look and an entire graphic universe and show the emotional benefit of decompressing and unwinding in San Ramon. So, and these are some of our 30-second videos. And if I can get, I'm going to play the 30-second one if I can. No, looks like it may not play for us. So unfortunately, the videos aren't going to play, but we have a 30-second video. And then we have two 15-second videos, which are essentially cut downs or shorter versions of the full 30-second video. And it takes you through different line art illustrations that we put together to highlight and showcase San Ramon and all the things that you can see and do while you're here. This here is our digital display banner creative. Just a few examples of some of the digital display creative that we have running or had running out in the market. This is some of the digital outdoor creative that we had running. So a couple different executions here. And then these are both Facebook creatives. So these are both video ads that we had running. Feeling overwhelmed, overworked, just over it. San Ramon is close by, but a world away. And then this is the website that everything drove to. And you all saw this last year, and that's the brand and the line art that we were talking about that have kind of inspired the creative that we're talking about. So getting into the program overview, our target audience, this is a geo-targeted regional campaign. We're looking at travel intenders here, so people who are interested in traveling. That's who we're targeting. Geography-wise, we're primarily targeting the drive market, so Sacramento and San Francisco DMAs, but also secondarily, we're targeting LA as a fly market in Southern California in general. Our flight dates were September 22nd, 2022, and February 5th through February 5th, 2023. We had a budget of approximately $300,000 for this media effort. Measurement, we were looking at content views and engagement from an awareness perspective. Next level down from consideration perspective, we're looking at traffic driving KPIs. Those are key performance indicators. And then we're looking at signals that are signals of people intending to visit. Our objective was twofold. We wanted to, of course, drive awareness of San Ramon while inspiring travelers to learn more. And then we wanted to capitalize on those aware audiences to generate bookings and visitation. From a strategy perspective, we wanted to leverage high-level awareness tactics to spark interest in the destination and promote users to explore further content. We want to utilize a full funnel. We wanted to utilize a full funnel approach and reach consumers throughout the planning cycle. And then we want to be able to retarget users with and drive them to visit. And so getting into the publisher performance, and these are quick summaries of some of the, or all of the partners that we ended up working with this past year. So Clear Channel was our digital outdoor partner. We ran outdoor or out of home units, I should say, in the Sacramento and Oakland airports. And then in addition, we were able to deploy mobile retargeting to people who were exposed to our out-of-home units in these airports. So we were able to retarget them with digital advertising, a little bit of Big Brother working. And then Weekend Sherpa was a content creation partner for us. And so Weekend Sherpa has their own built-in audience that views their website every week or on a monthly basis regularly. And they helped create 4 stories for us on San Ramon. And then they worked to promote those stories through e-blasts out to their consumers through social media programs as well. So they were able to get the word out to the people who regularly go to this Weekend Sherpa website. And again, Weekend Sherpa is focused primarily in the Bay Area and LA. And it provides inspiration for people to get out and do things on the weekend. It is very outdoor focused, but it actually touches on quite a few different subjects there. These are the 4 articles that Weekend Sherpa created for us. The first one is Secrets of San Ramon. The second one is more about the hiking aspect of it. The third one is the Hidden Gems of San Ramon. And then we have a holiday themed article as well. YouTube was one of our video partners. We had 2 video partners actually. They deployed skippable in-stream videos. And then we were able to integrate with Google Discovery to allow for retargeting efforts as well between those 2 partners. We employed a cost per view buying model to deliver brand engagement and improve view rates. And this was primarily targeted to people in California. And we also had a layer in there on competitive destinations as well. So if you're in California and you were looking for San Ramon or a competitive destination, you could be served our video here. Facebook was our other video partner that we had. And we also had some single image ads with this partner as well. So these were non-skippable video placements that drove views and awareness. It included in-feed and story placements to increase reach and presence on the platform. We were also able to leverage single image ads to promote the destination and drive website traffic. And then we were able to retarget as well through those single image efforts. From a targeting perspective, we were looking at brand audience segments within target geographies, California. And then we were able to retarget audiences previously exposed to our Discover San Ramon message to drive further engagement and intent. And that's an example there of one of the single image ads that ran. These here are some of the creative highlights. And again, a couple more examples of creative. Among the creative, our Unwind creative generated 64% of the total view volume and the strongest video completion rate. And then we saw similar performance with some of our other creative, Yoga and Hiker. AdTheorent was a digital display partner for us. This is a programmatic partner. So there are multiple ways to buy digital advertising. One of them is directly through the website or the website partner. A more efficient way to buy advertising is through programmatic ad networks like AdTheorent here. They work with multiple websites and can really hone in on the target that we were looking for, which, like I said, is travel intenders in California. So they can put in those different layers and really target the people that we're looking for from a digital perspective. We utilize rich media units as well as display. From a targeting perspective, this partner leverages machine learning. So it gets smarter as it figures out who the target is that we're looking for Discover San Ramon. We're looking for family travel, road trippers, in-market travel. That's the kind of people that we're looking for here. And again, it's geo-targeted to our key California markets. GDN or Google Display Network is another programmatic display partner for us. Everybody knows Google. They obviously have a huge reach. So we utilize them quite often. It's a great partner for us. We're able to utilize and leverage Google products and extend audience reach and engagement that way. We're able to prospect new audiences and plant seeds for visitation. And then we're able to retarget visitors who didn't take any action. Again, it's geo-targeted to our core DMA. And we're looking at affinity audiences with interest to travel. The Trade Desk, again, is another programmatic partner of ours. We were able to reach travelers through direct access to to this premium publisher inventory, leveraged display and native placements. And so that's one of the placements over there to the right that you can see. Targeting frequent vacationers, people who are interested in activities and interest-based audiences. We were able to optimize to engagements and on-site actions. So again, we would learn as the campaign went on and figure out who is going to the website, who is spending the most time on the website, and then we would target those kinds of people moving forward. Expedia was a partner of ours that was a little bit further down the funnel. So these are people who are obviously interested in travel. And so we want to be able to capture their attention when they're at that stage as well, when they're getting ready to book. We want to remind people of San Ramon and help them choose San Ramon over a competitive destination. So this was a multi-platform program that reached active travel intenders in the planning journey. They have multiple platforms with Expedia. It's Expedia as well as hotels.com, Travelocity.com, and orbitz.com. And then they built a dedicated landing page for us within Expedia that we're able to drive bookings to. And then we had the landing page developed in each site as added value. Again, we were able to target to the core DMAs. These are examples of some of the creative, the banner on the left, and then the landing page is there on the right side. And then this is, a snapshot of the booking performance from Expedia. This was our primary booking partner, so they were able to generate actual bookings for us. It generated approximately 146,000 in gross bookings, which was a $3 return on ad spend is what that means on the right side there. You can see the number of room nights that were booked, 926, the number of clicks and the impressions and all that at the bottom. The majority of the users booked their trip to San Ramon in a relatively short travel window. So less than a week were people booking the trip. It was primarily a 1 to 2 day trip duration that people were taking, which makes sense. We were trying to drive weekend travel for the most part. So I think that's what you would expect. I won't go through all of these numbers here. This is a publisher summary with impressions and video views and video completion rate, click-through rate, time on site, outbound clicks, and outbound click rate. At the bottom, you can see the goals. And for the most part, we came in above goal. The only one that we didn't come in above goal on was time on site. We were 1 second below goal there. These are benchmarks that we got from our industry partners. And moving forward, we would use these as our benchmarks for future campaigns. So we'll be learning from these previous efforts.
So which one of them is your site numbers?
Site numbers?
Yeah, Discover San Ramon site visit number.
It would be the sessions number, the 49,614.
Sorry, I'm trying
And then
to
your
find-
outbound clicks are clicks to partner sites, could be hotel clicks, it could be dining clicks, could be activities clicks, shopping clicks, any clicks that are outside of the website right now.
So the source, like from the Weekend Sherpa, for example, from there are 23 clicks that came to Discover San Ramon.
Say that again.
So when I'm looking at the table, if you see publisher Weekend Sherpa,
Yeah,
so is that outbound clicks like 23? That
Correct.
23 people came to Discover San Ramon through Weekend Sherpa?
correct. And to be clear, Weekend Sherpa was not primarily a website driver for us. It was higher up the funnel, more in the inspiration category. So we were driving people to Weekend Sherpa to view Discover San Ramon content on Weekend Sherpa. So we weren't necessarily driving traffic to the Discover San Ramon website through Weekend Sherpa. That content was being consumed more through the actual Weekend Sherpa site. But we did get some traffic out of it. And that's what's represented there in terms of the outbound clicks and the outbound click rate.
Okay, so YouTube too. Facebook looks like 1,165. That's pretty good. And the remaining like 37,109. That what's the period? Within what period is that clicks?
This is throughout the campaign period. So this would be from approximately 9/22, or some of these programs launched in October, actually. So October through February, the early part of February.
So
It
October
basically ran
22.
as budget allowed. So the budget exhausted itself around February 5th. And so that's when the campaign ended.
Okay, and the total outbound is one. What is that rate? What does it mean? What is outbound rate means?
That's the percentage of people who viewed, who went to the website and then clicked out from that.
That is 1.96. So that's is around 156 then. Or maybe 300. Maybe my math is wrong. Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
It's-
And then these were, this is a little bit more on the outbound link clicks and the individual partners and what it was clicking through to. So again, we have dine, experience, hotels, shop, and then we have the individual hotels broken out as well, based on how the website is kind of structured. So everyone's represented there. And then these are just some of the key considerations and learnings that we got from each publisher. I don't know that we need to go through all of this right now, but essentially, we know that moving forward, we're going to have key learnings from all of these publishers. Some of them we'll be working with again, some of them we won't be. But again, these are some of the key insights and considerations that we had for each publisher. And I think that's it.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions or comments for Wade or Dennis? Go ahead, Marisol.
Yeah, I was wondering, because I know we couldn't see the video, but is it included in the video, maybe some images of the wildlife that we have here in San Ramon?
The what?
Wildlife?
Not really at this point. And that's, I guess, kind of brings us to next steps, because that is one of the things that we propose moving forward is a photo shoot that would help get us some of the content that we would like to have for the website and for, future campaign pieces, things like that. So we do obviously have a very outdoorsy focus to a lot of the creative. That was something that we wanted to make sure and get through, but we don't currently have any wildlife per se in it.
Imagery included in it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it would be kind of people respond positively psychologically to that as well. There's like it evokes a positive emotion.
Exactly.
So the other thing is I just a thought, just sharing it. Mountain biking is also really common in the hills. So maybe adding something like that if you guys haven't.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Yeah.
Thank
So
For now,
like I said,
please.
it's something we would definitely consider as part of a photo shoot to get additional content. And would allow us to build out some more campaign pieces like this as well. So.
And thank you, by the way, for all the work that been putting into this. We appreciate it.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I had kind of a similar question, we didn't see the videos, of course, but it looked like most of the static pictures were mostly our open space and hills and things like that. But if you drill down into that, are you showing, some of the other sports and recreation opportunities, whether it's, golf, tennis, cricket, our parks and things like that?
We do have golf in there.
Yeah.
I don't think we have any of the parks or anything like that right now. I think that would be, something again, that would be a next step kind of a thing that we would look to take. We do have shopping represented in here as well. And we have dining represented. So that's kind of in addition to the outdoor part of this.
Okay. And then it looked like you had the boards at the Sacramento and Oakland Airport, but did you try to get in SFO? Is it harder to get in there at the baggage claim, or do they even have a board to do that kind of thing?
It's more expensive and we essentially worked with a partner, Clear Channel in this case. And I don't think they have the access to the boards in SFO. And from a money perspective, a budget perspective, it worked a lot better for us to target Oakland and Sacramento.
Yeah, we did Oakland a long time ago.
Yeah, and you mentioned some of the platforms, YouTube versus Facebook, for example. Some of the content was skippable, some is non-skippable. How do you determine, when is it your choice to do skippable versus non-skippable, or is it a cost factor, or what's the difference?
It's based on the platform and how we're purchasing it in part. And so it's Facebook just essentially just doesn't allow you to skip when you're in that environment where YouTube does. So, or you can pay a premium through YouTube and not have that.
Okay. And
I'm
then,
gonna try one more time to see if I can get the ads to play.
and then, I guess another question, and I think you started, when you had that matrix up, you may have kind of been answering this question, but for example, with Expedia, how do you know it was because of Discover San Ramon's efforts that those clicks led to booking a hotel at the Marriott or whatever?
Well, because they were booking through Expedia. So those particular bookings were booked through Expedia. So that's why
Well,
we were able to track those.
Well, I get that, but that's just, but how do you connect that back to Discover San Ramon?
Well, because we work directly with Expedia. They were one of our campaign partners. So when people booked through Expedia, we were able to track that because they were one of our campaign partners for this. So anybody that saw our advertising went to the landing page for Expedia that was built for our campaign and then ultimately booked, we were able to track those people.
Okay.
So it's not just landing, not just a click. That means they even did the booking
Yes, through Expedia.
through
Anyway.
Expedia. Okay.
Yeah, not all of our partners were able to provide booking data like that, but Expedia does.
I think when you were talking about Google, you may have explained it earlier on, but I didn't catch it, but you had an abbreviation in there, DMA. What was DMA? Explain that.
It is a demographic marketing. It's the full demographic area of a market. It escapes me what the actual meaning of it is essentially, but it's the broader market for San Francisco. So it would include San Ramon. And for Sacramento, it includes all the outlying communities of Sacramento.
Okay,
It escapes me right now what the name of it is.
it's okay. Yeah, I got it. That's all the question I think.
So
Any further go ahead.
yeah, I have some questions. So I see the campaign ran for 4 months, right?
Approximately, yeah.
Oh, okay. So how much was funded for that?
The budget for the full campaign was approximately 300,000.
So for 300,000, you got roughly around 1,500 clicks.
No, that was just from one of the campaign partners. If you go to this page here, the sessions were the website clicks. So we actually had 49,384 website clicks. And then from there, people who visited the website and then clicked out to outbound links. That was the 1569 that you were referencing. So these are people who have gone to the website and then have made another action outside of that. They've either gone to the dining page, they've gone to one of the hotel pages, they've gone to the shopping page. They've taken another action outside of just simply landing on the Discover San Ramon page.
Okay. So how you get that percentage goal, like based on what you're coming out with that % to goal? Like when you say 100%, that means that's you're meeting your goal, right?
Correct.
But how, like, do you have some numbers or formula which you say that, okay, if I read 49,614, I reach my 100% goal? How you get that? number?
The goals for this year were based off of the publishers that we worked with. And so we used some of their goals that they have for some of the other partners that they work with. And then, like I said, these numbers would end up being our benchmarks moving forward. This is kind of the first year of the campaign. So we didn't really have strong benchmarks to work from. So you kind of have to work with the partners that you're working with to establish these first year benchmarks, and then these become your benchmarks moving forward.
Sounds good. By the way, Sherpa, Weekend Sherpa, the website, that looks really good. It's very well published content. It looks really good. Now, do you work with any of our local community organizations?
No, we don't. At least we haven't to this point. Again, that could be part of an expanded effort that we look at moving forward. And we are looking to kind of prioritize some things here in year two, but that would definitely be part of a future effort.
Okay. So far, did Discover San Ramon conduct any events?
No, we have not done any events or anything like that. It has been part of discussions from a creative perspective, kind of leveraging that messaging. But we haven't really gotten into an event strategy yet or anything like that.
So do you have any estimate timeline when you will be coming out with the plan?
For events?
Yeah.
I think that's, something that we would want to discuss with Dennis and some of the other stakeholders in terms of a timeline, but we can make that happen if it's a priority relatively quickly. So again, it would just be kind of the priorities that we want to make moving forward. And if we want to make events, a priority or not.
If someone in the community, especially in San Ramon, we have a lot of events that happen, right? If someone want to reach out to Discover San Ramon, is there a way they can reach out to you?
Yes. They can contact me or one of the hotels. Occasionally we get proposals. From the hotel point of view, the idea is for Discover San Ramon is to create traffic to the hotels.
Yep. Mhm.
Not all traffic to the hotels is good traffic. So the hotels try to evaluate, what do we do to generate traffic? Took almost 2 years to develop these concepts. We got a lot of input from the chamber. Some of the city council people were in those those sessions where we went through all the ideas. So this stuff builds on itself, and we are spending more money on that. We have the foundation covered as far as the concepts. I was actually quite impressed that we got 2,137,000 YouTube people and Facebook people to click on Discover San Ramon.
But
Now, if any of you ever been on YouTube and you click on something, you're automatically being tracked and stuff will get back to you. So hopefully they'll cross-reference to other events in San Ramon. This is a hotel group. All the money comes from hotels. It does generate business for other businesses in town, including primarily the marketplace in Bishop Ranch. That will build on itself as more and more people come and more things are available in the city center.
Well, and from a consumer perspective, we want to communicate a well-rounded San Ramon experience. So you're going to be staying in San Ramon, but obviously you want things to do. And so we want to communicate that as well.
Yeah, but
That's what the dining
when
is
you
about.
post that there is yoga in San Ramon, but then where, what is that yoga in San Ramon? So when people come here, so where they should go? Do you have that information? Do you have any local partners? Do you work with anyone who provides yoga? Right? If we don't have any partners, then what's the meaning of it?
Well, that's what I mean. That's, like I said, one of our priorities is to build out this website with additional content to help get people from end to end, like you're talking about. So, right now we don't have a fully built out website. It is kind of a bare bones website, and you're not able to make that fully connected experience that you're talking about. But ultimately, that's what we'd be looking to do, is to add additional content on the website, build that out further, add partners to it that we can work with to help make the experience more complete and more well-rounded.
You're mentioning more well-rounded, so just content is not well-rounded, right? You need to have a partnership with the program or event organizations. That's how you can make it as rounded. If you just put a content saying that, okay, come do yoga in San Ramon, what does it mean? It doesn't mean anything. Any city can, or anybody can just post, come do yoga, right? If you really want to have a rounded content or rounded campaigns, that means you need to have a proper local community partnerships. Sure. You need to work with them so that way people can come here and directly go to the organization. I don't expect you do all that because you are not in that business, right? So we need to make sure that whatever the content we are presenting, that content should be people should be able to materialize it, or they should be able to utilize those services. And I know that Discover San Ramon, when is Discover San Ramon started?
Oh, boy, Dennis would have that.
2016.
Yeah, 2016.
2016. And looks like we started campaigns only like the content development from 2 years.
Let me say that we started in 2016 with no money.
No money,
Our
okay?
first 3 years was actually to build Discover San Ramon and have a financial statement. So the challenge was to do this with no money from the city. So we had to actually build a viable organization with the contributions from the hotels.
That's true, but that contributions that is coming as 1% of whatever your stay, is it $1, $1,
$2 a room.
$2 per room, right? So
But understand COVID from the beginning of 2020 until really 2 years from below that wiped out the hotel industry in San Ramon and everywhere else.
Yeah, we had established a brand for San Ramon and had started concepting for San Ramon, creative concepting when the pandemic hit. And obviously everything kind of stopped at that point. And then when we came back from the pandemic, it was a very different environment and some of the creative that we had originally worked on wasn't necessarily the right fit for a post-pandemic environment. So we had to make some adjustments in that regard as well.
And if I can add, as Dennis mentioned, it took a while to build that war chest of enough money to hire a creative team to create a campaign and then have enough money to actually sustain campaigns. So they didn't, wipe out the fund for Discover San Ramon in the first campaign, and then you have to wait possibly years to generate that money. And I believe the last presentation was one of our last meetings before COVID hit. And as Wade was mentioning, they were about to roll out a campaign and COVID hit. And it was a little bit fortunate with the timing that you didn't buy $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 worth of advertising. That would have been completely wasted over COVID. But I do know that we've been discussing, and at one point it was mentioned, promoting more local events like the Art and Wind Festival and other activities in San Ramon, eventually getting that into the flow after you start advertising the hiking and the golfing and building from there. So I know we talked about that at one point. And I think, of course, I don't want to speak for Discover San Ramon, but that's definitely going to be a conversation in the near future.
Yeah, and an event strategy is an important part of a lot of destination marketing. So it is obviously a conversation that we want to have and just see how much we want to dial that part in.
see, as just now Steven mentioned, wiping out the funds, you'll be wiping out the funds if you just focus on the content. I'm telling you, every year you come here with those numbers, which are pretty much useless for us, for the community, pretty much, because we don't see Discover San Ramon involvement in any community events. For example, this is like all you're showing the content for me. This is the first time I'm seeing something like this.
Well,
and no one in our community ever even mentioned about Discover San Ramon.
To be fair, we're not necessarily targeting the people of San Ramon. We're targeting outsiders to come and visit San Ramon.
Yeah, that's a very fair statement. But how you are going to target them when you don't even have any events? You don't even participate in any events. Then how can you be part of that involvement? How can you say that, okay, just come do yoga in our community? What does it mean? As I said, I'm repeating the same thing, but
Well,
Doesn't
yoga
make
is
any
just
sense
an
for me.
example of the kind of tone or, it's an example of something that you can do here, but I don't think it's meant to be taken literally as, I'm going to come here and do yoga. It's meant more to communicate an idea of relaxation, of, kind of, pulling out of, rejuvenating, so to speak. So however you may do that, and yoga is a part of that, but obviously we were just kind of looking to inspire people to come to San Ramon and rejuvenate themselves.
Yeah.
I,
So
I would think that my experience with, particularly with younger people, is if I'm interested in San Ramon, and if I get on my phone and say, I'm thinking about going to San Ramon, where can I get yoga? That information's on the internet. Very quickly.
but how you discover San Ramon is making sure that there is a local community, there is yoga organizations. Did you ever communicated with them and saying that, hey, we are working towards building this program. Could you please help us to provide some information about your organization so that we can have that information in our Discover San Ramon website? So people come to there,
But I think
then
most
they
of that
understand that,
information's already
okay,
there.
right? So
Yeah.
if I check, for example, Portland, if I type, okay, festival, I know what exactly festival is happening, or San Francisco, who are the event organizers, like all this information, I'll get it, right? That's what I'm trying to say here.
Okay.
So we need to, I think, if just putting the content and expecting these clicks, we are not going to really make much difference.
Well, I think what you're kind of getting at is a better website experience when people actually do click through, and that's what we're kind of looking to create. Moving forward is kind of building out that website experience and making it more complete so that you do have, some of that end-to-end connection that you're talking about. But it's a process. It takes a little bit of time. So
Thank you.
we're in year one now and kind of looking to build some of those things out here in year two, and obviously it'll continue to grow. So, but we're also looking to balance, new content development with media and trying to, put more and more into the media as opposed to new content development. Again, all of these campaign pieces that we've developed will be reused again next year. So again, we're going to be saving money in that regard. But, to build out the website is going to, take a little bit of money. And so it's just kind of balancing those two things.
All I want to see is that Discover San Ramon success will be when you can align with our local community organizations. If you can work with them and if you can share your information, that if someone want to reach out to you, how they can reach out to you, that will be great. And that way we can build strong Discover San Ramon. That's my thought process.
We are hoping to have a better relationship with the San Ramon Chamber. That
That
organization
great.
has fallen on hard times, which it apparently does about every 5 years. So it's hopefully on the rebound. And as it rebounds, it'll be a better opportunity for us to work with them.
Yeah, that's a great one. And also Rotary clubs, those are also very good partnerships.
I don't know that keep in mind, Discover San Ramon gets its money from the hotels.
Yeah, so
Our primary objective is to generate room nights for the hotels. And the benefit of that to the community are those people that come to San Ramon, spend their money in the local community.
That's right. So only we can bring people when we have events, and when things happen, then people will come here, right? Like for example,
Well, actually, if you had told me that we had gotten last year, a year and a half when we started this, we would have had 2 million people click on to a Discover San Ramon website or Discover YouTube, I would have told you that's way too optimistic.
no, Discover San Ramon only 1,569 people visited.
It's the 2 million is the video
Views. YouTube,
So again,
YouTube and Facebook.
it's 49,000 that visit.
Your
the website.
YouTube is 4,800K. That's what I see. And
Video views is 2,137,219 with 1,168,900 of those coming on YouTube and the other 968,000 plus coming on Facebook.
your YouTube shows 498K views.
What do you?
I missed that.
Where are you looking at
You
that?
go to your YouTube.
Okay, we still need to hear from the public. Can we open up the public comment, see if there's any comments there?
Let me finish few.
Okay,
let
go
me
ahead.
Finish this one. So
I'm trying to find where you're seeing this information.
if you go to youtube.com, you should see that views.
Go to
Number of views.
youtube.com.
Yeah, he's actually looking at the YouTube web, on YouTube for Discover
Website.
Santa Moon.
Yeah.
Not the chart.
I'm looking at the live data.
Yeah, that's not reflective of what our campaign's bringing in.
Well, if YouTube is telling wrong, then I cannot help it. But anyway, the bottom line is I want to see really more involvement from the San Ramon, Discover San Ramon to be.
I think what you're referring to are organic views of the video, which are different from paid views. And so so if you're going to YouTube itself and looking up the Discover San Ramon video organically, that's going to be a different number than what we have from our campaign, which is a paid campaign.
Okay, I don't want to dispute on those statistics at this point. So thank you very much for your presentation. I
Ray.
appreciate your work.
Thank you, Dennis. I'm going to open up the public comment, see if there's anyone here that wants to discuss the annual report. Do we have any cards?
Yes, we have one speaker card from Taiwan Country.
Hi, Mayor and council members, and Councilmember V-Rose, I really appreciate your meticulous and I appreciate your questions. I was a little bit surprised that the presenter went took the position of north to us, from north to south. Given the demographics that we're in, I was surprised that you didn't pay attention to San Jose and Fresno airport. So I was the chief operation officer of my family. And when I was raising my kids, I specialized in spending money, living in hotel because I had a couple of kids who were in travel sports. And 2 years, we actually lived in hotel. So during the holidays, we would get to know the attractions of local communities because there are pamphlets at the hotel. So since we're trying to create traffic for the San Ramon hotels, therefore we can be benefited from their taxes that are paid to our city. I really recommend that some of the promotion focus on the hotel chains, and the city needs to identify professionals who can work as say like hike guides or hotel or golf course instructors. That's how we, came to enjoy our life when we lived in other communities, staying at hotels. I feel that all those exposure on YouTube and Facebook looks good in numbers, but I really wonder, and it wasn't documented, how much actually contributed to financial goals of, our Discover San Ramon. I have a couple of ideas though. Normally, summer and winter are natural peak seasons of hospitality industry. I think what we can help with our tax dollars is during the spring and fall season. And we have beautiful cherry blossoms. And, in Japanese, every April, they actually have outings, picnics called hanami. It literally means flower sea, and individuals and families, they would bring their blankets and, pack up their sushi, and they just sit under the cherry trees and, enjoy family time. Perhaps we can have a citywide April month of Hanami festival. And then that way we can create pamphlets for you guys to pass out, at other
Need to wrap up.
hotel chains, and then to bring those traffic up here. And I also would like you to focus on maybe like local churches in Southern California, so then they can travel up here. Those are some of my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
There are no more speakers.
Okay, we'll close the public comment. Any further comments about the annual report or ask for a motion to accept the report. Go ahead.
Also move to accept the annual report.
We have a motion, Rubio. Pardon?
For reports, we don't do most.
We don't have to approve.
Okay,
I don't think.
well, if there's no objection to the, we will
Thank
accept
you.
the annual report and thank Wade and Dennis for coming out tonight. I know you got some comments. The annual report itself, though, I thought was good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming out. Look forward to next year.
I
Okay,
do want to add one thing. Stephen, when he was assistant city manager, did a great job for us.
well,
Yeah, he did.
now he's just. average.
Well, we think the great job we did helped him get promoted, so we just wanted him to know that.
Okay, yeah.
Now, as a city manager, the expectations double up, right?
Triple, okay. Okay, I believe the next item is public comment. Is that correct?
10.2.
Oh, no, we got the witness. East Bay Mud is here to give us another report. And we have John Pullman and look how fast I forgot your name. Please come on. Oh, go ahead. Introduce him for me, would you?
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, City Manager. Anyway, tonight, we're continuing on with our water supply update. Last meeting, we had DSRSD give an update, and tonight we have East Bay Mud that is behind me here. We're lucky to have two directors here tonight. We have John Coleman that has worked for over 30 years, so he's quite knowledgeable. He's in Ward 2. And we have a new director, April Chan, that is in Ward 7. And she's been the lucky charm because I understand she got elected in December, and ever since then it rained and rained and rained and rained. So she's brought good luck. So just real quick, San Ramon is split actually into two wards. And you may not be aware of that because Director Coleman's always given the yearly update. But Ward 2 is Director Coleman, and that is everything east of the freeway. And Ward 7 is everything west of the freeway. So that kind of divides it up. Again, East Bay Mud covers about 2/3 of the city for water and recycled water. So I will keep it short, and I'm going to pull up the presentation and turn it over to either Director Coleman or Director Chan here. Let's see if I can. Great.
Well, good evening, Mayor Hudson, council members, staff and citizens of San Ramon. Very glad to be here again. And Dennis said he's going to be really quick right before us. You probably heard my fingers going like that. And that was not, but whatever, it was an interesting report. So Brian introduced who we are. And what I want to say real quickly about working with April, she's new on our board. She's energetic, she's involved, she's in the community. If I touch it, I'll break it. Oh, great. Thank you very much. And so that's, we're glad to be here together. We're partners in crime, some people may want to say. I just want to real quickly go on to 9.1 when you're talking about the assessment invoices, assessment districts. Have them approach East Bay Mud. If they're a water conservation department, there may be some funds available to do landscaping. So you don't have that overlooked at all. That is potential money that we have available to local government, HOAs, and private citizens and businesses. So our water conservation department. So today, real quick, we're going to go through the current water supply, our California water supply projections, budget update, and then any questions. I always ask every year, are we in a drought? Are we in a drought?
I ask April.
We live in the desert.
Well, we at East Bay Mud are not in a drought. Having said that, parts of the state are still in drought. But at the same time, we're asking people to make sure they use water wisely. If it's going into your gutter, you're using too much water, and that's not smart for anybody. Now, in terms of where our water comes from, 90% of it comes from the McCollum pipeline from Hardy Reservoir to Larky Park and Walnut Creek. And then it's distributed from there, and some of it comes down the San Juan Valley, other parts of it go into La Miranda, then into Orinda, and Orinda feeds in the west side, the west side of the hills. And Comanche Reservoir is not drinking water, but it's counted in our supply. It's flood control. So during heavy wet years, we don't flood Lodi and Stockton and other things like that along those lines. So our gross water production, we are the red line. And this is what you can see in our normal year. It's the top line, the bluish line, and last year was the green line. We're certainly below where we were in 2005 through 2007. That's our base mark that we use from. And we're lower, obviously, in the very wet part after April came on board, when it was raining so much that we didn't need people to be using water. We're starting to creep up a little bit, and I suspect we're going to creep up. And every year during a drought, it takes about 7 years on the average to go back to what the water usage was prior to a drought. And that statistically has happened throughout our history at East Bay Mud. So our precipitation, you can see that McCollum, where we get the bulk of our water, over 90%, is 150% above average through June 21st. And then look at the amount of inches of rain, 72.26. That's what you see in Portland and Seattle and places like that. It was phenomenal. And we're expected to go into a La Nina year, or La Nina year. And in the past, people don't go, it's going to be wet, dry. It's about third wet, third dry, third average. So but one thing that's happening with climate change, and it is here, is that we're going to see more wet and intensive storms. And that's going to create, in some cases, water problems and situations, because we store our water up in the up country and it's snowmelt. Well, in the future, that's going to be more rain than snowmelt. As a result, we're going to have more water coming down the river system, not able to hold it back and capture it at our main reservoirs. And I've asked in the past that we please look at how we're going to redo our reservoirs. And I think we're going to work, April and I are going to work on that to get staff. Actually, they got to get going on it. I'll believe it at that. And one thing that I also work on closely is I work in NOAA, in my other job with, and we work on that's quantitative information on storm tracking. And we know that the storms are going to be coming in about 2 to 3 weeks ahead of time. East Bay precipitation, 139% above average. Again, 37.24 inches. That is actually what you get about in Oregon, in Portland, in a normal year. So that's what we did here in this year. Our Capel Lake snow depth. Now that is something that's over 7,000 foot, and you can see that the red line was extremely high as of a couple days ago. Basically, all the snow is melted at that elevation now. But you go higher in this year, there's still a lot of snow at that point in time. And our reservoir storage. So we're full, bottom line. Now it says 93% of capacity in the East Bay. That is lower right now because there's still a lot of snow up high to melt. That's going to feed into Pardee. That is going to come in, and then we're going to replenish our reservoirs down here. And we're at 700,000 plus acre feet of water. And every year we want to be at, our goal is at 450 acre feet of water by September 30th. That is our water year, and that's when things end. And that's how we start planning for the next year. Atmospheric rivers, ARs as they're called. We had 30 of them this year into California. Normally we have 13. So that is what brought us all that rain and snow into the mountains. And we're going to expect some more next year. I hope it's not quite as much as this year, but I hope it's still a wet year next year. I'd rather personally have more water than less water. Our California water supply, as you can see, we get our water from the Central Sierra part, and 337% of average was that. And again, there's still a whole lot of snow melt.
1/3 of California's water supply comes from the Sierra Nevadas, 1/3. And so we're looking at very good shape this year right now, and we're at 316% of normal for this date in terms of our water supply in California. Water supply projections. We work with a number of federal and state agencies, and so we have mandatory rules that we have to work within. We've agreed to them. And this year we're going to be releasing, we're in a wet year, obviously. So we're going to be releasing a lot more water downstream into Lodi. And we now have an agreement with the San Joaquin partners down there to store some of that water in the groundwater basins through conjunctive use. And as we get more water coming in, that's where we're going to be putting our water. We're not going to be building any new reservoirs at East Bay Mud. That's not going to happen. And so really what we're going to have to plan for is storing water underground and using it that way. But we have unimpaired runoff flows this year. In our budget update, we have a great rating of AAA from Moody's, but our challenges are aging infrastructure. Some of the infrastructure is more than 100. Actually, some of the aging infrastructure, we're 100 years old this year, goes back many more years before that. It goes back basically almost to the gold rush. And if it's working, it's been in the ground and it's still there. Our concerns are drought, floods, and fires, emerging contaminants, PFAS, as you probably read about. It's not in our water supply up country, but it gets into our wastewater stream. And so that's going to be more of an issue as we have to clean our wastewater, because we cover the wastewater side on the side of the hills, making sure we reduce the amount of PFAS that go into the bay, because that's a cancer causing contaminant. And it's a huge problem for the future of the aquatic environment here in California and in the nation. And most of our costs goes into inflationary costs or energy, chemicals, and labor, about 93%. So put it this way, if we sell 100 million gallons of water a day, we sell 300 million gallons of water a day, 93% of those costs are fixed. It's the energy and chemicals basically, and labor to make sure we get the water from there to your tap. And the only variable is going to be how much water and energy we're using at that point in time. Some of our critical budget investments that we're making, it's going to be increased by more than 500 million to 2.8 billion over the next 5 years. It's a lot of, it's a huge increase. You can see, I'm not going to read it all, the capital plans, and we're going to do it. Our operating increases are again driven by local inflation, as everybody's are. We understand that. But we also were hit very hard by the global supply chain post-pandemic, actually, where a lot of the chemicals that we need are produced overseas, and they couldn't get shipped into ports out of where they're being produced here into California, and there wasn't the capacity to hold them. So there's an 8% rate increase that was voted on to take effect July 1 in 2023-24, and another 8% 24-25. We do a two-year budget. And with that.
Sorry, one quick question regarding that. So you mentioned 8%
Yes,
this year and 8% next year.
correct.
So those next year also voted already. The board decided that you're going to go with it.
We do a two-year budget, and part of it was driven by our capital improvement program, what we need to do. Part of it's also our bond rating. We have the only AAA bond rating of any water agency in California. And so it means when we have to issue, go out and get bonds, we get a better rate than other agencies that do not have a AAA rating. And so that's very important to the rating companies. And I know we're going to be going out for bonds. I think it is, we heard this morning, I think in November, about $270 million in bonds we're going to be going out for to purchase, to do part of our capital improvement projects.
So may I know what is the process you use to get to 8% this year and then 8% next year?
Well, 8% is, it was again, okay, I'll be up front. We didn't sell as much water. That was part of it. But we had a, what was the word? On top of we had a fee during the drought to help recover those costs. But we also used some of that money that we took to help offset the actual rate increase it would have been had we not had that surplus to pull from. So part of it, you want to rebuild it a little bit. And I think we have a surplus of about $90 million. thereabouts. And that was allowed us to go out and buy water on the open market. And we were paying upwards of $700 an acre foot of water from certain areas. And I think it was a wise investment, it's an insurance policy. If we didn't buy that water, we didn't know what the next year foretold. And if we didn't have the water in hand and it was a very dry year, that meant we would have been saying, not only you need to reduce it 10%, it's illegal to water outside your house, period.
So
So it's building a cushion to make sure that we can operate our system and have a less of an impact on our citizens. Now, it's always controversial when rates are raised. I don't deny that.
no,
Yeah.
that's fine. But my question is, okay, you used to have a drought fee, right?
We used to
Now,
have what?
or drought fee, like you said,
Yes,
right? So what was that? How much was it?
it was 8.5%, I think, on the fee that we were charging last 2 years.
8.5. So now, as there is no more drought, then is that going to be removed?
That has been removed.
Okay, that means it should be actually equal, right? Because 8.5%, you increase 8%, that should be negate with each other. There should be no increase.
Well, that's one way to look at it. You gotta come up here. I mean, that's not entirely true.
So I think part of the increase for this, for the next 2 years, 6% of it is fixed. Before I came onto the board, there was agreements made with the unions about, we were in a very high inflationary period. And so we had to account for that in our increase. And that's a big part of the increase. But we have been hit with triple cost of the chemicals and obviously the infrastructure costs. This is supposed to be our year of infrastructure where we're putting a lot of money into that. But let me just add that during COVID, we actually pulled back on some of the increases. There was a 2-year period where we only increased 4%. So
just
kind
because
of
you
had to
increase
make up
4%
for
2
that.
years doesn't mean that you can increase 8%, right?
Well, but the labor cost is fixed. And like John said, most of our costs are fixed. We're also making less money because we're selling less water. I mean, this is like 98% of our income comes from selling water, right? And so when people are conserving, they've had the habit of conserving for many years. Even though we have a lot of rain, they're still in these habits. And so we don't make as much money. So we have this strange business model where we sell water, right? But then on the other end, we have to ask people to conserve. So it's a paradox. It's against our own financial interest.
Yeah, but I saw when your graph showed like water production, I see that it is going up, the production.
But but people's habits are not changing. That's the thing.
If you go back to the graph. There,
This is how much the blue was what we sold. The green was what we sold last year and the red is what we've sold thus far this year.
this year, right? So it's pretty
So
much in
it's-
conjunction with this year,
It's
like,
still below what it was in 2022. Actually, throughout almost the entire year, except for a slight blip in late November.
So I could see 2005, 2007 before the drought, right?
Yeah, that's our
That
base.
it's really
base.
high. Yeah, I mean, the amount of water we sold really is elevated. And then after the drought, the numbers have gone down quite a bit.
And the other thing that we have is we get a lot of mandates by the feds and the state. They don't come with money, but you're required to do them. And if you don't do them and you get fined, then that also comes out of the ratepayers budget as well, out of the ratepayers cost. And, if we release water into a creek by a break, that can be, but rarely is it as high as $10,000 a day, but it can be that high. And we've had some major breaks and there have been times that we have had to pay upwards of $200,000 to the regional water board because of that. So what we're trying to do is minimize the amount of breaks that we have One, because it's not good for the environment, for the Bethnic environment with the quality, with the chlorine and so on. But it's also not good for the ratepayers because it's going to come out of, the ratepayers are going to pay for it. There's no way around it. It's going to happen.
Yeah, well, see, end of the day, ratepayers are getting burned, right? Because if you even see that red graph there, I think just this year is low. The only reason could be because of the rains. We had a
Right.
lot of rains. That's the only reason I can think of. It's
Yeah,
nothing
it's-
about the water, like otherwise your graph is pretty much in line for the production. And then if you are saying that you're removing drought free 8% and then you're adding,
Yeah.
increasing 8%, that means effectively you're increasing 16%. Right?
Yeah, it's an argument that
So
it's something we hear all
everybody
the
says it's
time.
an inflation issue, but inflation, if you take inflation, at the most you should go to 8%, but now you're effectively increasing 16%.
Some of it, again, a lot of our fixed costs are energy and chemicals. And we need to buy them and unfortunately, a lot of chemicals are derivative of oil. And so does it now, thank God, the price of fuel's dropping. But when you're buying, bulk and chemicals, you're buying it at we've spent a couple $1 million a year easily when we're buying chemicals. And yes, we do produce energy, but we also have to buy energy when we're not producing energy.
It's like, I just want to make sure
Yeah.
like you're increasing by 16%, not by 8%.
It's to some people, it's like a shell game.
And whenever this water, these are the basic necessities, and whenever we are increasing these rates, the most impacted people are the people low income.
That's true. We have a
Yeah.
cap program for
So they
those
are the one
people.
who get hit pretty
We
bad.
have a cap program for those people who are low income at the same standard as PG&E. And they have a reduced rate of what they buy water at. And that's also coming out of people who are not part of the cap program.
Oh, could you please explain me more about that program?
The CAP program it's our customer assistance program for those who are of low income and they apply for it. And it's the same standard that PG&E uses for people who are on electric and gas rates. They have, I think it's a 50% reduction in their water charge. And that water charge do we have to absorb it someplace that gets absorbed by everybody else? And yes, it's ironic as we raise our rates higher, there are going to be potentially more people falling into it. And that's
Fully.
one of the things I've argued. So
Can we find the numbers on that? How many people? Do you have any numbers?
we can get the numbers for you. Yes.
Yeah, please email me that numbers. That will be
Okay.
great. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
We would love to send information to the city of San Ramon. If you have a way to disperse it, like a newsletter or something like that, we would love to send information about the CAP program. And we're actually pretty proud of the CAP program because this is the largest water agency payment assistance program in the state. I mean, whereas I think we spend $3 million a year on this program, and then the agency that spends the most next to us is only 1 million. So we have limitations because of state law that we can't actually spend ratepayer money on this program. So we actually have to raise money in other ways. Yeah. For this program. We have had this program longer than anybody else in the state.
That's
And
great.
so
And
we
you
are
guys should be
very,
proud of that.
we are very proud of our CAP program. So, but there has been initiative recently at East Bama to reach out more to Contra Costa County. So I will definitely send Andrew Lee, who's in charge of our customer assistance program, email
That would be
to
great.
get in touch with
Thank
you.
you.
Okay.
Are there any other questions?
Yes, and
Marisol.
thank you. Good to see you both.
Me too.
Just a kind of piggyback question here a little bit. Of that 16%, does any of it, I'm assuming it does go into capital improvement projects, and if so,
Yes.
how much?
Well, we're looking at $250 million over 5 years for capital improvement projects. I don't have the percent.
It's 2.5.
Yeah, 2.5 billion.
It
Program.
probably should be double.
Hmm?
You should probably have doubled that number.
Well, yeah, but then we'd have a lot of people in the CAP program if we doubled that number. Yeah,
But remember that of the 8%, 6% of that is labor.
Right,
6% of that is labor.
right. Yeah. 6% is labor and, okay, but you know, it's okay if you don't have the number. I'm just
don't have it in
curious.
front of me.
It's like the percentage. It's okay. I was just curious. The other thing is, so what's the update in terms of DERWA and what we're doing right now?
well, we're working hand in hand with DERWA. Recycled water, we're very proud of it. I just wish that we had more commodity to put in the pipes for DERWA because the demand is going to be there. And Marisol is very well aware in a high heat period, we do not have enough recycled water. Now, last year we were lucky. We didn't have that as a problem, but we've had that as a problem in the past. We work with Central Sand. We have an agreement with them until they need their product. Then we move it out of I guess out of the Blackhawk area down into Dublin to be treated for recycled water. We're working a little bit more with the city of Pleasanton as well on that. And I wish that city of Livermore would give us the product that they are currently dumping through the pipeline into the bay. It's treated, but we can use it for beneficial use. I personally think it's absolutely wrong to be taking a product that can be reused from an environmental perspective and reuse it for our customers. So DERWA is doing great.
So, and just a follow-up question to that, why do you feel, or do you have any insight as to why Livermore is not releasing that water?
What we've been told, it's what we've heard, is that they want it in case they need to use it. That's fine. But when they need to use it, then they can take it. And maybe by that time we can develop alternative sources of recycled water and products for that purpose.
Okay, and then, so could you provide, just on the second talking point in that last slide, you said capital plans include major work to improve the Orinda and Upper San Leandro water treatment plant, as well as you just mentioned other critical infrastructure. Could you provide a little bit more details framework around that? And how does that tie in? Does any of it tie into what you just mentioned earlier as well in terms of PFAS investment and managing wastewater in that regard?
Well, what this is really only our water side because we do not do wastewater on this side of the hills. So the budget you're looking at here is strictly a water side, not a wastewater side.
Mm-hmm.
And they also had an 8% increase as well for the next 2 years.
And are you making any investments? Because you mentioned something like the concern about how you're going to handle that in the wastewater recycling
for the
end of it. Yeah,
PFAS?
yeah. So what I guess it was a two-part question. One is asking, can you expound on what the other critical infrastructure considerations are in mind? And then the second question, I was kind of pairing it up. I was just saying in terms of the wastewater treatment component, you mentioned a growing concern being the PFAS, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering if what kind of initiatives or ideas or, are underway?
We're
in that
working
regard?
with scientists to figure out a way. I've read some things that there's possibilities to actually make PFAS inert, but that's still in the testing phase.
Mhm.
That would be great if that were to happen, because that would help solve a lot of problems. Our big thing is our pipelines.
Mhm.
And we have a responsibility. Think of it going this way. You drive from the Oakland A's Coliseum. I shouldn't say the Oakland A's, the Coliseum, the Chicago White Sox and back over 3,000 miles. That is how much pipeline we are responsible for. We're responsible for the pipeline up to your meter. And then from the meter to your house is not our responsibility. And we have an aging infrastructure within our service area. And, we went through the whole blue water thing when I got on the board in the 1990s down here, and that was new pipes and where that was happening. So there's always something happening during a drought. We have more cracks in our pipes. As the soil contracts, the pipes break. And so we went through that for 3 years as well. We know that it's less expensive to go out and replace a pipeline rather than having it break. And we're using technology to try and determine the weakness of the pipes so we can determine which ones need to be replaced before they break. It's cost 2 to 1 more to replace the pipe than it does to go in and take care of the pipe to begin with.
And how long is a typical lifeline, like lifetime of a pipe? say?
It can be upwards of 75 years if it's cast iron.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Mark, you got anything before I open public comment? No,
I have a
thank
couple
you.
of,
No, no
Sure,
questions.
come on up.
I have a couple of questions. So
Yeah, is it okay if I just add one thing? I was looking at this yesterday, plastic pipes, PVC pipes, 50 years. And then our iron pipes is 100 years.
Wow.
But, and you were asking about the different infrastructure projects.
Yes, a little more
Yeah,
details you
so
guys had, could share.
There- There's a book that thick. I mean, we have about 650 projects. I
Mhm.
mean, we're spending $2.5 billion. That's a lot of money, but I would be happy to come back and tell you what's happening in San Ramon, if you like, where is this money being spent in your community? If you would,
Yeah,
you
I
want
think
us to
that would
do
be
that.
really interesting, especially
Okay.
I think it would answer some of the questions that Councilmember Veros was asking. I think it would give
he's
clarity.
on a
around
roll
that.
tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would just give some clarity around that and,
Yeah.
the residents,
Mm.
I'm
They're
sure would
legitimate
appreciate it.
questions, All the ones
Oh,
that have been
yeah.
asked. They're legitimate.
Yeah.
And it's very confusing to a lot of people. And they get their bill and they go, holy moly, what is this for? Well, now it's every other month you get a bill, but still they get a bill and they're surprised by the amount of the bill.
Mhm.
And I mean, I use 74 gallons a day
Mhm.
and my bill is still close to $100.
Yeah. And, because when you mentioned about the PFAS, I know you said you were working with scientists to explore possibly making them inert. In other words, essentially isolating and capturing it, right? Making it so that it's no longer reactive with other chemicals, because that could be a big problem as well, right? But in terms of the infrastructure and technology required to carry that out, are there any discussions around that?
Well, we're working a lot with the universities and engineering firms. The EPA has gotten obviously very involved with it. It's something that's been around for a while, and fortunately, in our drinking water supply, it is almost negligible what we have because it's coming out of Pardee. To say that there's none is not accurate, but it's way below state and federal standards. But it's still an issue, and it's something that we don't want to have. I mean, depending on where you are in the United States, it can be a horrible problem in your drinking water supply. We're very fortunate that we have, very pure water coming out of Pardee Reservoir.
Right. And something I'm going to ask you that I asked DSRSD, what educational initiatives are also underway to try to help educate the community about how they can do their part to not pollute our water that way?
Well, we have a lot of educational programs. We can send people out, speaker bureaus. We have a speaker bureau that will go out to groups with the homeowners. We have a program that's for the schools. I guess it's restarted now. It was on hiatus for a while during the pandemic. That's the best thing. Send them into the schools.
Okay.
You get a 8-year-old and they see their dad shaving at the water running, they're going to say something. Or leaving the faucet on when they're brushing their teeth. They're going to say something, that kid, because they heard about it and it's wasting water. Kids are the best source of education. But we have an education program and we have people that will go out specifically to groups and talk about it. We have the information online as well.
Great. Great. Thank you.
Oh, actually, my question is already answered. But one thing for sure that the East Bay Mud, I would vote #1 for the best quality of water, the taste of water. Nobody can beat that one. That's like the best.
It is very good.
Had started with that.
No, it's the questions, right? It's not at comments is not at started. So
It's okay. I mean,
yeah.
we're used to it. We get we were not beat up at all by any of this. I've been spat at, I've been sworn at. This is easy.
That was during the drought.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that goes back many years ago. Even had death threats and had to have police protection for a while.
So
Tiered water.
also we received one invitation about your East Bay mud. It's like 7:30 morning.
Or what?
You had some event like 50 years or 100 years, some.
Oh, yeah, so our 100th year anniversary.
So, yeah, so like 7:30 morning.
Yeah,
The event was at 7:30 morning. Yeah, so I don't know who will be attending at 7:30 morning, but yeah.
is there anything else that we can do for you?
No, we're good. Thank you. Thank you.
Just want to say thank you very much. I'm
Thank you.
very
We're going to
proud to
open up for
represent
public comment.
half
See
of
if-
San Ramon.
If others have anything they want to ask, but the answers will go through the city manager.
Yes.
Thank you, April.
Can I, yeah, thank you so much
You
for
were
having
great.
us here tonight. And then
She
also,
was better than I was.
I will come back with the figures of what, and the explanation of what we're doing in San Ramon.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Or
Thank you so
extend it
much.
up, even he puts out a weekly report. It'll come out to us.
Thank you.
That's the easiest way to get it. Okay, we have any cards for public comment?
We do. We have one speaker, Taiwan Country.
You don't have to stay.
We're here this long.
Okay.
No.
We know it's only 3 minutes too.
Okay, so for disclosure, I live in Doherty Valley, so my water is not from the East Bay mud. But when I drive down 5, I usually see signs that says, food needs water. And I was talking with Miss Chen a little bit earlier when she came to compliment my name. She said that she likes my name and wish Taiwan well. I asked her, why is it that, your agency would drain millions of tons of water into the bay for some smelt? And how much of the smelt are we saving? And she couldn't tell me. So that's kind of interesting. And also, Mr. Coleman said that they're not interested in building a reservoir. And that is just flabbergasting to me, because I grew up in Republican Reagan era. All the California infrastructures for water currently that we enjoy were built by the Republicans. There were no dams nor reservoirs that were built on the Democrat watch. I wonder why he would prefer to store water underground instead of building a reservoir. Furthermore, he mentioned that there are going to be some water material that's going to be cancer causing. And but then he didn't elaborate how he's going to take care of that. That's going to be huge, he said, in the future in California. Well, with the kind of competence of our governor and our lawmakers, as a taxpayer, I'm seriously concerned. I do not think they have the ability to take care of our health. If by treating water is actually damaging our health, then it's almost like, then why drink water, right? Furthermore, I am wondering, why is it that when you guys mentioned 16% increase, they failed to disclose whether it is only on their customers? Disclosure again, I am not their customer. So am I going to be made to pay for 16% on top of whatever I have to pay for Doherty Valley, San Ramon Water District for Dublin already? I, as an immigrant, mostly like me in Doherty Valley, should not be double taxed for water, especially I don't use. Furthermore, today I was at the Contra Costa County meeting, and Andrew Lee's staff was there, and they were actually soliciting for low-income people to be subsidized with state
This is not related to
taxes
this topic. right?
that is
Please.
paid by everyone. So it is a topic because it's Andrew
You're
Lee.
bringing Contra Costa
Point
Community
of
College to go into
clarification.
this.
Can I
It's,
clarify
it's,
that?
but that pertains to
Wait,
this
wait till we're
agency.
through with
It's the
it.
same.
It's nothing to do with the water agency, it's nothing to do with the Contra Costa Community College.
I never said community college as a Contra Costa supervisors meeting. Anyways, okay, that's a
Thank
download. So please don't tax me because I'm not your customer. Thank you.
Understood. Thank you. Okay, next speaker.
There are no more speakers.
I just
No.
wanted to correct.
Public comment is closed. And I would tell you, John, if you can get a dam built in this country, in this state, you're running for the wrong position. You should be governor or president.
Sites reservoirs under construction right now. And Los Vaqueros is being enlarged. And we're getting
Yep.
30,000 acre feet of water stored in Los Vaqueros.
I stand by my statement. You should be running. Go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to provide a point of information because I think it's important for everyone to know that the affordability programs are not funded by the ratepayers. That's completely separate.
That was a statement April made earlier. Okay, thank you. I mean, if there's any questions that you wanted to answer, and I just send it to Stephen, it'll get out to all of us.
Thank you very much.
We'll get it right. Good night. Thank you for staying around. Okay. We need a motion we just accept the report. We're correct?
Just accept.
Okay, thank you. We're on to public comment. Public comment is open.
City manager.
City man, we're gonna let him speak first. All right, never mind. We'll wait on public comment, city manager and council comments. City
Right.
manager, your report?
Thank you, Mayor. I do have a few items tonight. One, the first is that there has been a planned closure of the I-680 southbound lane. We're starting to get more reports from, residents that they're experiencing a bit of traffic backup. Caltrans will be closing the rightmost lane of southbound 680 at various locations and times between Al Costa in San Ramon and State Route 84 in Sunol. This will occur June through August, approximately late August, and the closures will take place during the day between 11 a.m. and 7 p.m. So it's mostly for, I believe, tree maintenance. So just be aware that you check your Waze apps and all of your apps before going out to see if there's any backup. I do want to point out that Saturday is our 40th anniversary, the day of. There will be many events this weekend, but they're mostly related to 4th of July. But we will have a presentation from staff at a future council meeting outlining our year-long celebration of the 40th, which will be highlighted by a 80s gala and also a nighttime light parade. Speaking of this weekend, we do have Run San Ramon, which takes place in the morning, beginning and ending at the San Ramon Community Center. The fastest mile starts at 7:30 a.m. and the 5 and 10K runs start at 8 a.m. And then at 5 p.m. on the 4th of July is the Independence Day concert at Central Park, free admission with food and beverages are available for purchase. And that concludes my update.
Thank you. Marisol, you got anything? You'll be running in that event again?
I'm recovering from a foot injury still, so
Me too.
probably not. So I should I just give my report out now really quick? Okay, so it's just really brief. Attended the Arts Advisory Committee meeting on Wednesday, June 21st. We discussed basically in detail the priorities for the upcoming year, including marketing, funding, availability of resources, accessibility for all residents, sites where people can work on basically do artwork and carry that out, as well as making it accessible for people with disabilities and for finding ways to make it accessible for people who may not be able to afford a space, and how they can do that as well. How they can volunteer hours, for example, in lieu of form of payment. So, and then just in closing, I'd just like to give my condolences to the Rashid family who lost two sons, both of San Ramon last week, Tuesday, Adam and Khalid, ages 25 and 23 respectfully. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sridhar?
I didn't have any community committee meetings, but
That would
attended.
make you the star of the people that are still here. Go ahead.
So I attended Chamber of Commerce event on June 22nd. It was very well organized, and congratulations to Heidi Kenny, the new president of San Ramon Chamber of Commerce. So that's pretty much from my side.
Thank you. Mark, anything?
No, I've largely been out of town other than attending meetings related to selection of our new city manager. So just congratulations, Stephen. Just publicly in the council meeting, I just want to say congratulations, and we look forward to continuing to work with you in your new role.
Yes, thank you. And on my report, I want to start it off by asking Police Chief Dent Carlson if he would come up and tell us a little bit about our newest employees. Always looking forward to our new police officers.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, Mayor. Just last Monday, on June 19th, we were able to welcome 3 new police officers to the San Ramon Police Department. The honor of swearing in Officer Chris Brown, who came to San Ramon with more than 10 years of experience. Officer Justin Noyd Lestrap, who came with over 8 years of experience to the San Ramon Police Department. And then another police officer that was sworn in that was a little bit more special coming internally from within the San Ramon Police Department. Officer Brandy Lopez Cuedras had been serving with us as a police service technician for the last 2 years and had expressed a desire to become a police officer. So we were able to bring her up and swear her in on Monday as well. So that brings our total of police officers up to 65. Authorized 70, as you well know, and we currently have 5 additional candidates in the hiring pipeline. As you know, police officer hiring can change pretty quickly, but we're hoping if all of them make it through the process, we'll have those hires in place in September is what we're targeting, mid-September. So if all 5 work out, that'll bring us all the way up to our authorized staffing level of 70, which is a great place to be in today's law enforcement hiring world. So thank you for the opportunity to share that, Mayor.
Thank you, Chief, and please let them know that we appreciate them coming on board from the city council.
Will do.
Anybody want to add anything to that before I go on with the rest? Thank you, Chief. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, no, I just want to say thank you for the update and all the hard work I know you're putting into it. So thanks a lot.
I would say also that San Ramon held its first satellite Bay Area Air Quality Management District full board meeting about a week ago. I thought it was fairly successful. We were looking at a very important rule 6.5 to reduce some greenhouse gases. Unfortunately, at one point, it kind of disintegrated into a little bit more of a board members speaking up less about the rule and more about they didn't appreciate some of the racial comments that were made. That's just something we have to deal with now. I won't be holding board meetings for subcommittee meetings, but if anybody wants to come to full board meeting, I think we'll continue. I'm talking to the executive director tomorrow. And it's nice to see what's going on in some other people's meetings too. But it's just so much work I wouldn't ask to sit through a subcommittee meeting. But, you know, it's the kind of things that are important to the people that live here. If they want to know if when they come out and tell you, why aren't we doing anything about air quality? Tell them to come to the meeting and hear for themselves. Because we're not going into San Francisco. The subcommittee meetings, you'll have to go over to Pleasanton. And obviously, that's it for my report. Okay. Any cards? Anybody want to speak public comment?
We have 1 speaker card from
Okay.
Taiwan's country.
Okay, take 2 minutes. Yeah. Public comments coming up after this too for
Got
not.
it. May I have 2 minutes on the clock, please?
I'm going to put it on 3, and then if we can stop when it
Uh,
reaches 1
Okay,
minute.
got it. I will do that. Thank you. Okay, so first of all, welcome to the new police officers. I want to congratulate the city manager. It is truly amazing that he is so supported by everyone. And I also supported him as a public speaker as well until recently. I felt that he was probably too earnest to want to gain the support of the politicians and the staff, that he started to undermine and overlook the interest of the public speakers. For example, our city council meetings and other meetings in the ad hoc or commission and other committees used to have full meeting packet folders. Now we no longer have it, because some staff do not want to print them, citing that, oh, they don't have to do that. However, we have public meetings under the Brown Act for the public so that we can have a transparent government. Not everyone is able to afford an expensive digital appliance where they can read a bunch of papers on their digital device, like you guys can afford. Some people here, they may want to be able to have just papers to access, but now we don't have that. So another thing I noticed was after interim city manager at the time was leading the transportation committee meeting, I have seen the most strange phenomenon where the staff were allowed to mislead the public by saying that the officer for security at the time was joining their meeting when it was not. And when the public addressed it, he did not correct the missing information, but he corrected the public speaker. Well, I want to respect you, Mayor Hudson. So I'm going to stop right here. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else?
There are no more public speakers.
Okay, we'll close the public comment for this item and move on to public comment. This is for people in the public that haven't spoken before. They want to address anything that's not on the agenda. Do we have any cards for that?
We do not. We do have one hand raised by Joyce Carr, but as you know, we're having audio problems with Zoom.
Okay, give her a chance to try it. If we can't do it, we can't do it, right? Okay, she can dial into that. The special phone, the bat phone.
I pulled on the phone a moment ago, so let me just make sure it's working. Are you there? No? Oh, you know what, that piece came on. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hear me? Yes. Hear me? Okay. Can the council hear me? The council hear me?
Yep. Joyce, you will need to turn your phone off. I mean, not your phone, your other audio in the room.
Joan, it may be echoing through the actual microphone because the speaker.
Let me turn off the Zoom.
It won't work.
What do I do?
I don't think it's going to work this time.
Okay. I'll call you at the next time.
Okay, they're asking you to go ahead.
We're saying we want to hear it, Joyce. Go for it.
That's really sad. And if you can't understand me, stop me. First of all, Steve, I want to congratulate you. When I did not have cancer and we did not have COVID, I attended every meeting. And you and I often spoke in the back. And you were always very nice to me, and I want to thank you. And congratulate you. Okay. Secondly, the unwind in San Ramon kind of touches a little bit on what I was going to talk about. I received the city report. I can hear me, so I know when to slow down. When the people were asked to identify the most serious problems facing the community.
Joyce, if you turn your Zoom off.
Turn it off, right? Can you just hear me on the phone?
Yes.
Okay. I sound more normal. Okay. When asked to identify the most serious problems facing the community, too much growth and development got 31%, and crime safety 24%. And those topped the list, followed by traffic congestion. Well, I love San Ramon, as you know. And listening to Unwind in San Ramon just kind of further convinced me that too much growth is going to bring a lot more traffic to the city. And also these high-rise buildings, I can hear myself, so I slow down. The high-rise buildings aren't going to make San Ramon look like a place that someone would want to go to unwind. So I just wanted you to think about that, council members, etc. And let's keep San Ramon the pretty, beautiful city that it is, that we want to come to unwind. Have a good evening, everyone, and Greg, you look better than you did last time I saw you. I'm so happy.
Thank you, Joyce.
Thank you.
Still got a ways to go. Okay, that will conclude comments about our comments, and we'll move on to the regular public comment. And this is time for people in the public who haven't spoken before to speak up on any item not on the agenda. Do we have any cards?
There are no speakers.
Okay, we'll close public comment. Unless you guys want to stick around for the rest of the evening, we are adjourned. I'm not waiting for a motion. Thank you for coming.